Hey everybody, Happy New Year! Welcome to my first ever live tarot. I'm so glad to have you all here. I wanted to celebrate with you. I hit my goal was to hit 500 subscribers for New Year's, and I hit 500 subscribers right before New Year's. So thank you everyone, I really appreciate it. Hope you all are doing great. Gail Guire, Susan Simmel, Jennifer, Prudence, Vic, Maria, I've got to open up another screen here. JS, Violet Integration, Grace, Blue Sky. Oh, it's so good to see you all. I did start uploading the tarot for all 12 signs for this month. So far, Scorpio and Taurus are up, and I will be posting new ones up through the 3rd. I should be done by then. Yay! Thank you, thank you. You will hear the cats in the background. They are just wild today. I don't know what got into them. Maybe it's all the vibes of all the readings, but cool. So they're hanging out. They'll probably jump in the middle of a reading at some point. Yes, Highland Love, absolutely. Hey, Susan, Greg. Greg's here too. Happy New Year, Greg. Future someone, thank you, and Happy New Year. Oh, this is awesome. So let's see. We're going to go ahead and just answer as many questions as possible. Get through as many as I can. We'll just see how it goes. So let's see. We've got... I just saw... The only thing I saw before I added my pinned post was Prudence saying hello. And I think the first question I have is JS. How to formulate a question. Yeah. How to formulate a question. So the best kind of guidance I can give you on formulating a question is I usually try to avoid the word should. I try to go with best interest or highest good or what would make me happiest or something along those lines. Should kind of carries a lot of baggage. I mean, if it's the word that really resonates with you, then that's fine too. But should, it's almost like should according to who? Like, should I go back to school? Like, depending on who you ask, the answer would be different. So would I be happy about it? Would it be in my best interest to go back? That would be a good way to kind of phrase it. And I do try to stay away from questions about other people, like tell me about this person or what this person's going to do, because they're not here and we're not reading for them. But I can read on you and what is best for you to do or not do, or what opportunities might come up, that kind of thing. So I hope that helps. Let me know if there's any other kinds of questions, but usually I go with, is it in my best interest to this or that? Or I might go into, if I do X, Y, and Z, what will that look like? If I change my mind, what will that look like? And I can even put down a couple of cards of like, these couple cards are for like path A, and these couple cards are for path B. So that can help too. So yeah, try to keep it as open-ended as you can. And usually that allows spirit to kind of come in a little bit more. I hope that helps. If you have any other questions, let me know. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Awesome. So I'm going to start at the very beginning for questions. Oh yeah, the cats are going ham. Let's see. Jennifer, good to see you. How do you move forward with your healing gift for others? I love that one. So, Susan, if you can, give me a number 1 through 4. And yeah, when you're asking a question, if you remember, give me a number 1 through 4. That'll decide which deck I use. But it's totally okay. If I don't hear back, I'll just sort of guess one. 3. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so Rider-Waite it is. So how do you best move forward? I'm just going to read it again. Move forward with your healing gift for others. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give this a good shuffle. And I'm going to also go ahead and shift my screen. Hey, and welcome in, Fiad Luna. Good to see you. Okay, this is a little bit low, so I'll move these up for all of you. I just brought in some crystals to help kind of support and protect and There we go. Cool. And I have my pendulum. I hope that this leaves enough room for the card. So let's see. How is Susan best to move forward with her healing gift to others? And I did pre-shuffle and Reiki the cards here. So I feel like 3 cards. Yeah, 3 cards are going to come out. Okay. So the first card that comes up is the Empress. So the Empress is a major arcana card. So congratulations on that. That's a good thing. The Empress brings in this, basically this sacred gestation, sacred holding space, a lot of divine timing too, but she is literally or not literally, depending on how the reading susses out. In this case, it's not literally, but she is seen as like pregnant, whether it's the obvious one or whether it's filled with something that is developing that will be born into the world. So oftentimes this shows up at the start of a business, or like I actually had dreams about this card when I was about to start my business. So this is holding space and putting everything together and kind of sitting with it and waiting until it's ready to be like birthed forward. So starting off with this, I would say that it's definitely in its sort of initial stages. It's almost ready to be launched, is what I would say. Other advice, so I'm going to read all the cards and then kind of put it together into a meaning for you. The next card that comes in is a Page of Wands. And then after that is a 7 of Wands. So the way I want to read these, so the Page of Wands, pages are initial energy and often messages. They're usually seen as messengers. So I would see this as keep building what you want to offer, keep working with it, keep honing your skills. And as you do that, there's going to be a sudden either opportunity or a message that's going to come to you to say, hey, do this. It may seem like a logic, like a flash of logic, or it may be like intuition from on high, or even someone reaching out to you and saying, hey, do you want to use this space? Or, hey, I've got this opportunity for you. The 7 of Wands is basically saying like I would say this would be like the what to wait for, what's the best thing to go forward, and what's the thing to watch out for. I would say the 7 of Wands is more of like a try not to spread yourself too thin. Oftentimes this is sort of like standing up for yourself, but having the upper ground. And I would say right now, like start small and start with one thing. Start with finding an opportunity or go with a message. Ask the universe to be as clear as possible with that message and with that opportunity. And then start there with that one thing rather than throwing everything out there and then trying to make space for it all. But ultimately, you're just about there and it's a matter of divine timing. So this is a really good, like it's coming very soon, but there will be an opportunity. And yeah, start small, start with the one thing that seems like a good thing and then wait it out and then start to ask what else feels like a good thing here? What else that I provide would fit? What else would you all like? And then it'll start to move forward on its own. I hope that helps. You've been waiting on divine timing. Yeah, this one definitely shows like, this is sort of like she's not just newly like, oh, this is a new idea. It's like she's just about ready. So yeah, I feel like the influence, the offer, the opportunity, the message is going to come through really clear really soon. And it's going to be starting small. Not small, it's still going to feel like a big start. But rather than taking everything that you do and putting it all out, start with fitting that one or those two sort of things that you've been asked to do, and then bring it in. Also, wands, just to let you know, as far as like timing, wands are a very quick moving suit. Of all the suits, this moves the fastest. So I feel like it's going to come in pretty soon, probably within the next 3-4 months is what I would guesstimate. But I would say this is even a time where you could start, as far as that message that comes in, start meditating on it and being like, okay, what's that message? What's that email? I feel like it is soon, and you're ready for it. You're very much ready for it. Also, with the Empress and divine timing, she's also got the divine feminine, and she is basically what happens when you put the magician and the high priestess together, in a sense. So there's definitely a lot of intuition at play there. So I wouldn't be surprised if it came in or around a lunar cycle, like a full moon or a new moon. You're so welcome. You're so welcome, Susan. I hope that helps. So let's see. I hope that works out for you too. So I'm just going to put these back in, give it a shuffle to break the energy, and I'll take the next question that was in there. And every time I put the decks back down, I'm going to switch around the order so that you get the best deck for you for your question. So let's see. I'll go back here. So Grace, what to avoid and how to prepare. And can you give me a number 1 through 4? Four. 1, 2, 3, 4. That brings us back to actually the Rider-Waite again. So, what to look out for and what to prepare for. I'm just going to see. Okay. Well, the what to prepare for was a really good question because there's a really great answer for it. So here's what I get. So we'll go one reading at a time. So what to look out for this year for Grace. In the center, and here, let me just move to my other camera view. In the center is the sun. So this is basically saying, like, this is a good card. So what I would say is, like, it's not so much like something bad is going to happen. I think you're going to have, from everything I'm seeing in here, you're going to have a lot more agency in this year. meaning, and by agency, I mean control and ability to shape things and have, it's not going to be completely out of your hands like it may have been in the past. This is going to be a good year for you. The sun is unequivocally the best card in the deck. It's like it shines the light on everything. Sunlight is the best disinfectant, but also everybody's celebrating and happy. There's sunflowers blooming and things like that. The other things I would say that come in here that do give a little bit of a warning is Queen of Swords upside down. And what I get from this, what to look out for is, so the first question was what to look out for. I would say look out for like a bitten tongue, like a truth being hidden, or somebody like not saying something. So that can be either what you're not saying and it kind of churns within you. It's like, I'm not saying anything. Then we get angry and it kind of spits out. The Queen of Swords is someone that when she's balanced, she can be very fair, very balanced. She definitely has that sword, and that sword is logic. But if she is out of balance, this is someone who can like have a very sharp tongue, who can cause a little bit of damage without realizing it. This is, I think, for you to say, be careful not to bite your tongue and hold everything back, because your feelings may come out in a way that isn't the best for you, like putting your foot in your mouth, that kind of thing. And also kind of watching out for other people that might be there too. If somebody feels like they're maybe a little bit resentful or something, even just meeting with them and being like, is something wrong? Are you okay? What's going on? But yeah, watch out for the words that are unsaid. The other thing is to look out for it. And remember, these are minor arcana cards. The Queen and the Knight, these are minor arcana. So these are little. These are not a big deal. The big deal card was a really good one. The other thing is Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands are sort of, it's aggression, but it's the same thing. It's sort of what happens if we don't think things through and we just jump out there. The energy of the Knights to me are like very kind of immature, youngish, like think of a freshman going into college or someone just new at their first job or something like that. It's somebody who's like, oh, I can't wait to have my turn. And then they jump out there and they're kind of not thinking through the best way to act. And those are actions. So action without planning and letting your feelings stew and not saying what's going on because it'll come out differently. So I would say look out for that, but also from other people, look out for them too doing kind of the same thing, is not well thought out actions, sharp words, and just sort of like if anybody is aggressive or feels sort of brusque, I would say like it's just really immature. It's like low vibe energy. You're way bigger than that. How to prepare. That gives you a really good answer. So how to prepare. This here is the 9 of Cups, and this is the wish card. So make a wish. Tell the universe what you want. Seriously, and write it all down for you. Like, this is a minor arcana card. The other two cards are major arcana. And this is definitely like make that wish, tell the universe what you want, and start to set goals for you. Like I said, you're going to have a lot more control over what happens this year. So what to prepare for and how to prepare for it. And you actually got, one of the cards is the Tower reversed. This is actually good. The Tower, when it's like this, is like, well, you know, at least you're not stuck in the tower anymore, but you didn't have any control over the lightning. This is opposite. This is like, I see what's coming. I am going to control this. Before this blows up, I am going to handle it. So this is a very empowered card. The other card is Death in the Right Up. This is, Death in the Right Up is actually a good card. It's about endings when they're supposed to end and new beginnings. It's about, this is what happens when death doesn't come on time. This is you saying like, no, I'm going to leave the things that aren't serving me. This is foul. This doesn't feel right. I'm going to go ahead and cut my losses here. That kind of a vibe. This is I'm closing the chapter and I'm opening a new one. And I'm not taking anything from the old chapter with me and I'm not leaving anything behind. It's a very purposeful cut, a very purposeful moving on. So how best to prepare is make your wishes, make them clear if to the universe and yourself, write them down and start working towards them, and let go of what doesn't serve so it doesn't drag you down. And really let go of them. Like, look at it as like, thank you, and close the door. Like, this is definitely going to be a year of, I'm really going to close the chapter on this and truly move to the next thing without leaving it behind. And usually I'll say, like, don't burn your bridges. My friend Jeannie often has a joke, we'll burn that bridge when we get to it. This is not so much a burned bridge as like, I ran through, like that Knight of Wands. I ran through and I set it on fire and oops, I need to go back. This is more of a like, I know that I will not need that bridge any longer. Like, that is in my past. I'm grateful it was there when it was time, and it's no longer for me. I don't even need to keep that on my list of, GPS locations anymore. I can let that go. So I hope that helps. So basically, things are going to be going really well. You're in control. Don't give in to the, like, definitely speak your mind. Definitely act with thought. Like, you don't have to be quick to act. You can take a moment and think and process it and then move forward and make your goals known to yourself and do what you have to do to follow up with them. So I hope that's helpful. But that's a really good reading. That's a really good year for you. I really hope that this helps. And thank you for being here, Grace. Lots of love to you. Happy New Year. Oh yeah, I'm so happy to be here, everyone. Thank you for 500 subscribers and Happy New Year. Let's celebrate. So let's see. Okay, so back to the other screen. But yeah, Grace, I'm really happy for you, Grace. That's awesome. That's really, really great. Yeah, you're going to be calling the shots this year. That's what I want to see for you. Okay, and Violet Integration. Improving your finances for 2023. If you haven't already, and I'm just checking, give me a number 1 to 4. You're welcome, Grace. Lots of love to you. Lots of love to you. You got this. Yay. Thank you, Heart. Oh, there's so much love in the chat, as always. But yeah, Violet Integration, if you are here, give a 1 through 4. I'm going to shuffle the energy of this one. Three. Okay, so. Ooh, very pretty. You got the Fountain Tarot. Oh, the number 1 through 4, I have 4 decks in front of me. So that'll help not only keep the cards really well shuffled and mixed up, but it'll also help with each deck kind of has its own energy. So it'll help to personalize your readings to get your energy in the form of like selecting the deck that best fits. Oh, it's okay. You don't have to be punctual here. It's fine. So let's see. How best to improve finances for Violet Integration. This deck is so pretty, but it definitely has pretty different energy. I'm going to start here. Yeah, so I see there's definitely some good advice here. Okay, so and let me again just switch screens. Okay, so this is the Fountain Tarot. When I archive this, I'll put links to all of the tarot decks in the description. So this is the Ten of Swords. So this is the way you're feeling right now. And yeah, it's like stick a fork in me, I'm done, if it's a card. So this is just showing how dire it is and how dire it feels. So I'm super sorry and sending lots of love. But that's where that is right now. It's sort of like, the good news is it's not going to get, it generally that card means it's not getting any worse. So that's a good thing. The first card that comes in is this one. It's the Three of Coins, which is working together. And the first thing I heard when this came in was like financial advisor, like working with a professional who has your best interest at heart. There are ones because I know you're local to me in the Philly area, there are definitely nonprofits that help with this and things, because it can be, it best be picky that it's best that you be picky with financial people or any kind of financial advice. I think we all know that. But this Three of Coins, I feel like, is you, a financial advisor, and maybe even someone or something else. It's like working together collaboratively to benefit your overall circumstances and help to create things. So I feel like, but this is like he's bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. He's holding this up. See how it looks kind of like a Venn diagram? That circle would be you, and you're the bigger part of the circle, but the other ones are like adding to what your potential is and helping you to make more of what you already have and use it better. So that's great. So yeah, finding a financial advisor. In Philly, there's Finanta. They're a nonprofit, but there's other ones too. So check that out. Another card I get is the Fountain, which only really exists in the Fountain Tarot. And when I get this card, sometimes I read a piece from the book, but really what it means is the ether. It's taking a deep breath and being in the problem, seeing it for what it is, and just sort of connecting to self and spirituality, finding your still point. So I'm going to actually look it up. Yeah, so the Fountain is B. So the meaning is oneness, a moment of cosmic clarity, being fully awake, the end of seeking, surrender, and feeling whole and perfect. So this is, I feel like being that this is a major arcana card too, and this is the only major arcana, it's a very powerful major arcana. It means infinity. I feel like this is also, there's an underlying healing that's going to take place that has to do with the underlying factors with value and things like that. But what the actual thing is, I'm not super clear on. This is also a really public forum. But there's a healing that's going to be not directly about finances, but of something underlying it, like a personal thing that's going to bring a lot of wholeness and a lot of inner peace. So it's a really beautiful thing. And then what I get here is Two of Cups, which is, I mean, generally speaking, this is like I usually see this as the best minor arcana in terms of the energy when I read for folks. This is another card of not being alone with this issue and not kind of, sinking into it. Financial issues, especially in our society and culture, we don't talk about that stuff, and we tend to internalize a lot of shame around these things. And this is basically like working with the people who can help you, and being connected to other people will ultimately help. So rather than collapsing inward and like, oh, here I am collapsed under the weight of all my swords and I'm so worried and I'm so upset, this is more like prioritize yourself, getting into the spiritual side and the personal side of what needs to be healed at the base level, and reaching out at the same time and asking for help. And I feel like it's just going to be this deep shift, deep healing. It's going to be more than just your financial world. It's going to be a big life shift for you into the massively positive. So that's good. So lots of love to you, Violet Integration. Lots of love. Thank you for asking. And all the best with this. This is an incredible card, the Fountain. This is like ether. So I hope that this is really helpful for you. And thank you for being here. So let me see who is next on the list. Okay, cool. Okay. So I saw Violet Integration. Matches what you've been getting for yourself too. The 10 of Swords and the 3 of Pentacles. Yeah, been meaning to schedule a session. It's okay. Lots of love to you. In Philly, when I started my business, if you're from the area, you probably remember them like on the news all the time when you were a kid. Consumer Credit Counseling Service of Delaware Valley. They were a nonprofit. Well, they've changed into Finanta. Like, it's really the same. And that was the group that helped me when I was thinking about starting a business. Like, the first thing you do is you look at your finances. And I found working with them really straightforward and not sketchy at all. I felt really empowered with them. But there's lots of other places and groups you can look at. So lots of the best to you. Lots of love. And let's see. Who was next? And Prudence Jane gave me already a request for a number. I'll just scroll down to it. So Prudence Jane, I would love to know what 2023 has for me professionally speaking and in your love life as well. Absolutely. Number 4 deck. So I was going to put this here. So you get the Tarot of Dreams by Ciro Marchetti. So professionally and love life. Let me shuffle this guy up. So the first 3 are going to be professionally. The next 3 are going to be love life. So for professionally, I feel like I might be dropping more cards for love life. But for profession, so let me hop over to my other screen. We've got the first one here is Strength. So definitely the major arcana card of strength isn't so much strength over, it's balanced strength within the self. And oftentimes what this means is going to the places that scare us and finding that internal strength. So it's that going to the places that scare us in like the Pema Chodron kind of sense. Pema Chodron is an author. She's since passed. She was a Buddhist author. But strength, I would say, to describe it more internally, like that tiger is within her. And it's almost like the old parable of the lion or tiger with the injured paw, with the thorn in its paw. It's scary, but if you go and you remove the thorn, you have a friend for life. So I feel like the first thing that you're going to want to do is go in and work on yourself. Anything that you feel you need to shore up or heal, or anything that you feel particularly vulnerable about, it's a good time to like work on that a little bit. And also and that could be anything from fears about shifting jobs or taking on more responsibility. It could be anything like that. Then we also get the 4 of Coins. The 4 of Coins is in the upright, so I don't feel like it's like a bad thing. But what I do get is now is a good time to kind of look at your financial resources, your savings, if you have it, 401k, things like that. Not so much like, oh my God, you're going to run out of money, but more like you might feel like, I feel like a lot of this challenge comes with, oh no, am I going to be out in the cold? Am I going to have to worry about resources? I feel like this is basically saying to take a really close eye at your finances before you make any shifts in your professional life, and it'll help you feel more secure in taking any chances you may have the opportunity to take. And I feel like it will just in general empower you. So take a look at, you can also start to look at your budget and things and start to shift it. I don't feel it's a warning card of like, hold on to all your money because stuff's about to hit the fan. I'm not getting that. I'm getting very much like, it's more like an opportunity for empowerment. And there's also a good chance that there might be some financial benefit for you. So that's a good thing. But yeah, take a look at your finances so you'll feel more comfortable reaching a little bit farther. And the last card I get for career is the Wheel of Fortune, which is awesome given these other two. I feel like there's going to be a big shift, a big change, but a lot of what it isn't going to be really clear to you until it happens, until it's ready to do its thing. So the fact that you got the Strength card is the best thing you can do is kind of take a little bit of energy that you may be putting into the grind and redirect it on yourself and go, okay, what are the things about me that I want to work on before I would make a big jump, and start there. Everybody has those things, and also feel more empowered around your finances. You'll feel much more easy taking on a potential leap, or you might be able to get a better idea of what kind of compensation you would want or to command. It might be a good time to look at your resources and also look at what are the standard salaries for you at this point in your career and what you do and what you want to do, so that you know where you're starting out with what you request and things like that, so that you know your worth. And then there's going to be a big change at some point, and usually when I get the Wheel of Fortune, there's not a lot that's going to be told about it, other than it's the weight of everything that you've put in so far kind of going into it's like the roulette wheel, but it's not a game of chance. The roulette wheel, unless it's rigged, the roulette wheel is like the ball lands where it lands, right? This is not the same case. It's weighted by our previous actions and deeds and things like that. And I'm getting a really good sense that the more you've already done a lot of work, this is just kind of like tidying up, that you're going to end up in a really good position for some big, big change. So this is a good thing for career. Love life, I'm getting I might just have to pull some extra cards for you. And don't take that as a bad thing, please. First thing that comes up is the Queen of Swords. So this is kind of like I mentioned earlier, the Queen of Swords is, when she's balanced, she looks like this. She's on guard. She's definitely not somebody who's going to let something sneak past her. She's armed, but she's also willing to listen. She's not pointing that sword at anyone. When she's in balance, she's actually balancing intuition, logic, and practicality, like actions. So I think that the Queen of Swords here, it's sort of like that opportunity to really look inward and think, okay, what's really going on? What am I really looking for? What's really been in my way? What patterns might there be? This is a chance to it's basically suggesting to bring some logic into it. After that, I get a Page of Coins, which is definitely not a romance card, but he's also a little bit upside down. The Page of Coins, pages are usually messengers and new energy. He's a little bit less of a messenger. I feel like this has to do with stability. So I feel like a lot of what might be coming up is maybe there's a lack of stability internally, and that's showing up in how you show up for relationships, that you might be coming to this conclusion of once I feel more secure in myself, in things that are not internal, things that are coins and pentacles are the same thing, and it's money, resources, basic needs. So there's something that's getting in the way, that's sort of being triggered, that has to do with your feeling of being left out in the cold or not having enough. And once you work through that, it may open that up. And that's where I get, this isn't literally someone's going to die. That's not what the death card means here. What I get is there's an internal transformation. So in this deck, the Tarot of Dreams has a totally different energy. This is a very 2021 energy kind of deck. It's like, okay, we lost everything in 2020. 2021 was like, well, it's not back to any semblance of any kind of normal. We still don't know what's going on, but it's like enough things have been broken where we can start to build things anew and afresh and start to like think, like dream a future without as many barriers in our way, which is what a lot of people did. I mean, the world is totally different. There's industries and businesses, the types of which didn't exist a few years ago, didn't exist before the pandemic, that kind of thing. And when I bring that up, see this snake here? The snake is a really sacred imagery and a sacred spirit, excuse me, of transformation. The snake sheds its skin. And this is a golden snake, so it's definitely more deeper in a spiritual sense. And it's got all the symbols of all the astrology all over it. So it's like a very deep shedding of like your skin and who you are. So this is like what they would call in, like basically shamanically speaking, the snake is seen as like a shedding of yourself and being reborn. What they might call in some shamanic principles, what is it called? A dismemberment journey. It's basically to come apart and bring yourself back together again in a more harmonious way. It's like a semblance of growth. I feel like this is, especially the first half of the year to the first 8 months of the year, you're going to be working internally on some things that are holding you back. And you're going to basically birth yourself anew, and then is going to be kind of more time for romance. But this is deep inner transformation in this deck. This is as though there's nothing in the way and you get to see yourself in a totally different way, and then shedding that layer of skin and developing, growing, and letting go of some pains that are holding you back. So I hope that helps. So professionally, you're going to be kicking butt, and in the love department, you are creating an opportunity for a romance that you probably wouldn't be able to even like be with right now, but a lot of like personal like self change. I hope that helps, and I hope you have a happy new year. But let me know if you have any questions. And so yeah, Prudence Jane, all the love to you. But that's a really like beautiful, like the death card in the Tarot of Dreams is a really like spiritual card. It's a deeply spiritual card. It's almost more like a Hierophant and the death card together. You're welcome. And let's see who's next. So we had, where's Prudence's question? There it is. So Vic had the question of what do I need to know now? I love that, leaving it open-ended for the guides. And deck 2. So let's go ahead and do that. So what do you need to know right now? And we're working with the Hanson Roberts Tarot deck on this one, which is super pretty. It's very cute. Very like old school story kind of energy. 4 cards. So Vic, here you go. A lot having to do with work and resources. I got 3 Pentacles cards and the Queen of Wands. So yeah, absolutely. So here's what I got. So we will go over here. The first card I get is the 8 of Pentacles. It was upside down, and with transversals, I don't read transversals like on a very strict pattern. If a card is upside down, I check in to see if it wants to be upside down, and then I just sort of intuit or channel what it's meant to be, or what it's meant to mean. This is not meant to be upside down. It's meant to be right side up. Okay. 8 of Pentacles is about being hard at work. It's considered the apprenticeship card. And you can see he's hard at work. He's making his craft and he's stacking them up behind him. So this is, what do you need to know right now? Stay hard at work, kind of nose to the grindstone. 7 of Pentacles, I feel like this has less to do with literal resources. This has more, and this is just my intuition coming in. This has more to do with your personal loss, but also how much energy you have for what parts of your life and things like that. So the 7 of Pentacles is like a taking stock or taking inventory. Usually, like I mentioned, it would be physical things or money or what have you. But here, this is a man looking at his tree, and he's looking at okay, all the work that I put into my orchard, did I get enough apples this year to make it worthwhile? He clearly doesn't look super happy at the yield. Now, this can be different from deck to deck. The images are just different. What I get is that this is about parts of your life. This is a really good time for you to kind of step back a little bit. You might be, I feel like this kind of tells me you can't see the forest for the trees. You're so hard at work to get everything happening that underneath it all, there's this feeling of things not being what you want them to be, and a low-grade unhappiness that's starting to build a little bit. This is the advice to take some time and look at where you're less than happy, where in your life you're putting in so much work, and where in your life you don't feel like you're taking out what works. Are you working too hard and not leaving enough time for yourself or enough energy for yourself? Are your finances tied up in a certain kind of way? Are you putting a lot of energy into relationships that you're not getting back? This is saying the best time for taking stock is kind of now. Step back a little bit and see where you're happy, where you're unhappy, because things are going to need to be moved around. I feel like that's going to lead you to a 2 of Pentacles. 2 of Pentacles is usually here he actually looks pretty happy. A lot of times the 2 of Pentacles they can look a little stressed. The 2 of Pentacles is about you have enough to get by, and you're just kind of juggling it. You're not really getting ahead, but you're kind of treading water. This is about, but it's not sustainable. So right now you're okay. Right now you're okay to keep working. But the resentment or the feeling of this isn't quite working the way it should is starting to creep up on you. Take a stock of that now before this smile turns into a frown, because behind you there's a little bit of you're just not seeing the rougher seas kind of thing. And again, this isn't necessarily money. This is life in general. And then that makes a lot of sense with this Queen of Swords. So she showed up upside down, and I'm getting the sense of seeing her both ways. So right now, the way you're showing up is a Queen of Rods upside down, which is, queens are very managerial. They know how to make the things happen. They're very logistics minded. Being upside down as the queen of making stuff happen is sort of you're not really in control of the steps. You're going through the steps here, but you're not necessarily thinking of, you're acting like a drone when you should be thinking like a boss. this is basically saying you need to turn that around. And instead of being the upside down Queen of Rods, which is like, I have all the power that I need to like turn this around, but I'm going to sit here with my eyes closed and just kind of keep working and hoping it gets better. It's saying it's time to step into the driver's seat a little more and start to steer and say, hey, wait a minute. This doesn't feel very good. Okay, how can I change this? How can I shift that? And being proactive in making those changes before you end up turning around and realizing you've only got 2 pentacles and there's a raging sea behind you. It's like, by the time you turn around, you want to be like, okay, I'm ready to go swim in this ocean, not, oh, I thought I was just hanging out on the shores. So it's taking more, what this is saying as an answer to your question, what do you need to know right now? It's take a more active role in steering your destiny. I hope that helps. I hope that helps, Vic, and have a happy new year. But yeah, basically, you're good. You've still got lots of pentacles. This is a good thing. It's just like, yeah, start to look at the aspects of your life because you can improve it and you can basically wield it into more of what you want. So that's a great reading. I'm glad to see good things coming to you. Yay. And thank you for being here. And thank you for being a part of the community. Okay, cool. So I'm not reading ahead any of the questions, so I just wanted to remind everybody, questions are cool. Give a number 1 through 4. That'll help me pick the deck for you. And also the only real hard and fast rule is not so much questions about other people, questions about us or the world we live in or something like that, but not questions about other people because they're not here. So, okay, cool. Let's see, who else is next? Okay, so Highland Love is next. Will you meet a love interest on your international travels this year? Ooh, that sounds fun. That sounds fun. All right, so let's see if deck number 2 for Highland Love. Okay. Oh, number 3 instead of 2. Okay. Okay, cool. Number 3, cool. All right, so you get the Fountain Tarot. So Highland Love, let's shuffle it for you. Will you meet love on your international travels? Ooh, it sounds so fun and romantic. Let's find out. We're going to start out with 3 cards. Want to reshuffle. That doesn't feel right. So sometimes when I'm reading, I'll actually like touch the cards to the selenite. Ooh, this makes more sense. Okay. So Highland Love, here we go. The first card that comes up is Ace of Coins, which is not very romantic. The Ace of Coins is all about like a burst of energy and like a gift from the universe, like an initial thrust of energy of some kind. And in this particular case, it's coin. So I feel like there's going to be, as much as you're asking about like, will you find this romance when you're on this trip? I see like a financial influx of some kind, or feeling really secure and stable. A really good, just like really good financial footing for what it's worth. I feel like that may even be before you've even asked this question. Let me check in. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So the next card is the Nine of Coins. So the Nine of Coins we had a little bit earlier. I was doing the readings for all 12 signs. I think I had it in that set of readings. They're all blurring together. Nine of Coins is a woman who has a garden behind her, and she is like, everyone would want to be her. And the reason is she has her garden just as she wants it. She has her pet bird. It's like she has created the life that she wants based on her own efforts. It's like a woman who is happy and stable of her own making. And so this is a really beautiful card of feeling stable, happy, being on solid ground, having all the resources that you need. You're kind of in a good place. And then what comes is sort of like, it's an advice, but it's a very charmed advice. And it's the second time we've gotten this major arcana today in these readings, and it's the Fountain. It's the Fountain. So the Fountain, again, is it's ether, it's checking in with yourself, it's taking a deep breath, getting to your spiritual self, and letting go of expectations and all of those things. So I feel like this is, you're in a good place, you're good and stable, and you're happy the way that you are. And this is about just kind of doing exactly the beautiful, wonderful things that feel exactly right to you. And the more that you do that, the more that someone that matches that energy is going to be right there. So that's the advice that I get from this. Like, you've done the work to kind of create your own life. So simply be your beautiful self, focus on yourself, and the right person will be magnetically attracted to that. And the more you feel like you, that you'll recognize them when they show up. It'll feel familiar because it'll be such a match to your energy. So I feel like whether it's on this trip or before the trip or after the trip, I feel like focusing on yourself and just the things that make you happy and being the person you want to be, the right person is going to be just sort of magnetically attracted to you. So I hope that helps. But yeah, I would say do this trip and do all the things that you want to do the way that you want to do them, and not like, well, there'll be more people there, so I might have a chance to meet somebody. Do the things that are meaningful to you. There might be one other person there, and they might be the person for you to meet. So I'm happy to bring through good news for you. So yeah, just focus on shining your light, and you're going to do great. That's awesome. Yay! So glad I could do that for you. I hope that was fun. But that's such a powerful card, the Fountain card. Okay. So let's see. Oh, you're very welcome. I'm so glad that resonates. So glad that resonates. Okay, so let's see who's next. So Jessie, you're next. So I get, hello, any insights for me in the new year with your gifts? And I did see that you put a number in, so I'm just going to look it up. Any insights for you in the new year with your gifts? And you requested deck 4. Okay. Deck 4 is the Fountain Tarot again. So let's go ahead. So, any information about the new year in regards to your gifts? One more shuffle. Okay, so the year ahead with your gifts. Okay, and if you hear noise in the background, I live above a laundry room and someone's down there. Okay, so this is a really interesting read for you. So, hey, Hom. Go ahead and pop a question into the chat and then just a number 1 through 4 so I know which deck to pull for you. It's good to see you. Welcome in. Happy New Year. And so the year ahead with your gifts. The first card that comes up is a 2 of Wands. So this is a decision. I'm just going to switch screens here. This is making a decision and choosing a path. So it looks like the person is holding, like, say, chopsticks or something. And then in the hand is sort of this round piece. But if you look a little closer, what's actually in their hand is a globe. It's the world. So it's a matter of the world is in your hands. Which way are you going to go? Are you going to choose yellow or are you going to choose red? So the first and most important card is making a choice, which way you would like to go with it. After that is all major arcana cards. So this is going to be a big year for you in regards to spirituality and your gifts. The first card that comes up is, so this is going to be like kind of like a, I don't want to say spiritual trial. It's not like that. It's more like a year of anytime any of us that are on any kind of spiritual path, when we really make that decision and start walking that walk, we kind of have to really work some things out to make sure that we're ready for what's ahead. And I mean, I did it too. We all kind of did. And the first card that comes up is exactly what that path kind of symbolizes, or a card that symbolizes that path, and it's the moon. The moon card in this deck is a little different than traditional. So the moon is usually like a journey of some kind, and not usually like over a distance journey. It's not like a field trip. It's more like a spiritual journey, an internal journey. The water is a little rough. It's very dark out. Now there's definitely some light. There's definitely some light, but you don't get to see everything. A lot of things are in shadows. The path ahead is going to be definitely clearly delineated. You know you have to go this way. And in this deck, the water on the other side is much calmer. And that's usually how this card works. It's you need to go through a little bit of, I'm not quite sure what's going on, a little bit of spiritual growth and development, a little bit of choppy waters to get to the really beautiful, smooth sailing. And by the time you get there, the sun will be up and you'll be able, like, everything will be illuminated. So it's a spiritual journey and a travel of, getting into yourself and working on some spiritual truths and some personal truths, some self-healing kind of way, like the healer's journey kind of thing. Next is the Hanged Man, which is, if you kind of look at these two ahead of them, like next to each other, like before the sun is completely risen, he's here. Like the sun is just starting to come up, and he's the way that this shows up, the Hanged Man is basically hung upside down by his leg. But if you look at his face, he's not in duress. He's not in pain. He's not in pain. He's not upset. He's just sort of stuck. What this is supposed to represent is a change in perspective. It's sort of like, well, I can't move forward right now. So let me take this time of feeling like divine timing isn't quite right for me, and take another look at things, take a deep breath, and see things from a different perspective. So there's definitely going to be a shift in perspective and the time for you to make that shift. And then it ends with the Wheel of Fortune, which I feel is really beautifully done. The Wheel of Fortune, and we saw this in someone else's reading in a different deck, the Wheel of Fortune is very much this cycle and karma, if you want to call it that. So we have the Wheel of Fortune. It's all of the energy that you've put in up to this point, and now the universe is basically going to shift where things have been. When you've been in a difficult position and the Wheel of Fortune shows up, that's usually saying all of that hard work you put into this is going to pay off, and things are going to be fortunate for you. To go from a spiritual place like the moon and doing that internal work, reflecting inward, having an opportunity to change your perspective, maybe learn some things, and all of the sudden, all of these opportunities kind of come through. So I feel like it's a very spiritual journey. It'll be a little rougher before you get to the fruit of things, but it's not going to be the worst journey, and it's definitely going to pay dividends. So I feel like what's in the future year for you and your gifts, very much a deepening of them, very much a deeper connection to spirituality and a honing of your gifts, how you connect to them and what you bring to the table, and a tremendous amount of opportunity when and only when you're ready. But this is going to be a very divine spiritual year for you. So I hope that helps. This is a really beautiful thing. It sounds like it's tumultuous. It will be a little bit at first for sure, but it's amazing. So all the best to you. You're so welcome, Jessie. You're so welcome. Feel free to, if you ever need any, cheering section or anything like that. I do a Reiki and Crystals live stream 5 times a week. The dates and times are in the description below. You can always stop in and just soak up some good energy as you're going through it. But yeah, you've got great things ahead. It will be a matter of timing, but I feel like it's going to be before the end of the year for sure. And it's another one more 8, 9, 10 months, and things will start to be whoa, here's this opportunity. So I hope that helps. Thank you for being here. Have an awesome day and a happy new year. And let's see, so who's next? Thank you all for your patience as I get through everybody. And next was Jennifer. Will I meet a new love interest this year, or should I just keep focusing solely on my own self-work? That's a good question. Let's see. So Jennifer, I believe you already put in a number 3. Okay. And deck number 3. Sorry for your ears as I move this around. I apologize. So deck number 3 is going to be the Rider-Waite again. Okay, there we go. So In short, I get a little bit of both. Okay. A little bit of both. The first thing that comes up is the King of Swords. So this is very like logic. And I feel like this is because I know you and I know what's been going on and you've been mentioning it. This is the result of logic and kind of looking at yourself and being logical about who you are, looking at the mind, sorting things through, and the internal work you've already done. And like you've already said, you've done a lot of internal work and a lot of self-work. So this is you basically like being more in control of your mind than you have been previously. After that, I get the Queen of Wands. And this is a little bit more of that kind of management energy. I feel like bringing the things that you've learned logically about yourself out into how you act, out into how you get along with folks, and also setting up because it's wands and it's the queen, setting up your life in such a way where you can meet more people in a way that is heart-centered, not just like meeting people like meat market kind of thing, but more like setting up your life where you get an opportunity to come across more people that have a shared interest or a shared introspection, something that's like thinking about what's important to you, about what a new love interest would be, and kind of showing up in a place where you would find those like-minded people. After that, I get to really beautiful and almost self-explanatory kinds of major arcana, and well, this does not say just work on yourself. This does not say just work on yourself. No, it does not. So this is a beautiful card because obviously it's pretty clear, but these are not just the Two of Cups. They're not just coming together like open honesty, open heart, and that's great, and there's chemistry. This is like hey, you've done a lot of work on you. Hey, I've done a lot of work on me. Hey, let's hang out. It's somebody who very much is a very spiritually significant match for you, someone who has done the same kind of work on themselves that you've done, and it's very significant and very balanced. You are a Gemini, and the Lovers is your card. Yeah, absolutely. The other card I get is, take this for all that it's worth, the Empress. So this can mean a lot of different things. This could mean that there is like a time and a space and a depth that happens in that relationship over time, where I feel like because the two of you are coming together in such a significant way, like they've done work on themselves, you've done work on yourselves, together you've done so much work. And the Empress is what happens when you get the High Priestess and the Magician together. You get a real magic there. You get, what we described earlier as like pregnant, literally or figuratively. And this is her saying, now we get to work. This is also like you get to evolve together. Like, I've done all the work I can do on myself. I've done all the work I can do on myself. Hey, let's get together and find a whole new level of things that we can share with each other, and also new ways that we can work on ourselves and parts of ourselves we can't quite see on our own. So it becomes a very spiritually significant relationship. You could also read into this for the, big old belly thing, just putting that out there. But I definitely get that this is like the relationship, and the two of you together becomes like its own thing. Like you are you, they are they. This is something really significant, like a really significant spiritual relationship. So yeah, this is like, you've done all the good work on you, and congratulations. You're very much, you know what's going on in your mind. You can own it. You've done the work. Now put yourself in the position to meet people who match those new milestones, those new points of important interest. Somebody who has done the same caliber of work you've done, someone who would be a good complement. So I hope that helps. I think it does. It's a really good one. Yay, keep me posted. Let me know. Okay, cool. So, yeah, and Gemini is the Lover's card, absolutely. Maybe it's another Gemini. We'll see. Or somebody with like complementary Gemini energy, like somewhere else in their chart. And let's see. Okay, so JS, how can I best show up for myself and my dreams this year? And we are back to the Fountain Tarot. Sorry as I move everything all over the place. How can you best show up for yourself and your dreams this year? You've been working on that. You really have. That's been a point of interest. You've really been working on that. There's a lot of what are called face cards, which are Queen of, Page of kind of things. Definitely taking charge, a lot of taking charge energy. So the first one that comes up is Queen of Swords. Or sorry, Queen of Coins. Queen of Coins. So Queen of Coins, this is someone who is very benevolent, very sharing, very giving, someone who has the basic needs kind of tied up, but also somebody who comes from a place of stability, like being self-reliant and good, a good balance for yourself, that you have your needs cared for and you feel really secure in that. Also, she's very much aligned with the color green, and as I'm looking at this, the intuition I get is very like, things are very fertile around you. Like things are growing. There's a lot of life and a lot of life energy around you. So that's good. Keeping a lot of plants around, even eating a lot of fresh plants might be helpful. So check in with yourself on that. The next is Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups she's almost a paradox. Basically, the Queen of Cups has this, she's emotionally available to everyone. She's somebody who has been through a lot and has a lot of emotional depth from which to offer support to others. So I feel like this is being in touch with the you that walked through the fires of your past and being in touch with that, and almost like having conversations with the you that has been through so much, and starting to take some pride in taking a lot of pride in yourself for what you've accomplished and what you've learned. And you're also going to be able to look back at the things that you've survived and you've walked through and learn new lessons from them, because you have been able to, you can see them from a new perspective now. So to be there for yourself is to say, almost like coach yourself through your traumas a little bit, or coach yourself through the pain that you've been through. You'll be teaching yourself this new, like, oh, I can look back on that now and learn more kind of attitude. But also you can comfort yourself. Like, wow, I'm glad I can see it that way now. But wow, that was really hard for me. I really want to support myself for having been through that. So it's this almost like being your own crone or your own sage. Doing a little bit of inner child work, maybe. The Page of Cups also comes up. Pages are new energy. They can be messengers too. The Page of Cups can be a bit of new emotional energy. And I definitely feel like with the Page of Cups and the Queen of Cups, I get a really strong feeling of like inner child, and not even just inner like child, like little you, but you of even a few years ago or several years ago, but you were already an adult. And so like the best way you can show up for yourself is by supporting yourself through the wounds that are still there, even though they're not fresh wounds, comforting yourself through the pain that still persists. And the other thing that comes up is Four of Swords, that this is going to be a year of lightness as you support yourself to kind of heal these things. It's going to be a deeply meaningful year, but not a heavy year by any means. It's more like a supporting yourself as you grow. The Four of Swords is like the meditation card. In the Rider-Waite, there's a picture of an old school, like Middle Ages knight lying down on what will be his grave one day in a church. And it's sort of like, hey, you're resting, you're in town, not fighting a war right now. You will be back there. But for right now, just chill your mind, hang out, and just be. Just take your rest. And so this is a card of reflection, taking that time to reflect inward, taking that time to care for yourself. So I feel like this is going to be a year of giving yourself tender, loving care, and that's the best you can do for yourself. That's the best way you can show up for yourself. Be patient with yourself, offer yourself lots of healing and lots of care and lots of encouragement. Like, wow, you really did that. Good job, you. Good job, me. So yeah, it's a really tender time. So all the best to you. I'm so glad I was able to bring that through for you. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, cool. So let's see. And Susan. Oh yeah, you've been waiting for a timing thing. Yeah. Blue Sky, where would it be best to focus your energy at the start of the year? And number 3. You're welcome. You're so welcome. Jennifer, yeah, I'm done with water signs. Yeah, I feel you. Samesies. Okay. And do. Just wanted to make sure I got that. So deck number 3, it's going to be the Hanson Roberts. Best way to focus your energy at the start of the year. Best way to focus your energy at the start of the year. So this comes through actually pretty clear. It's pretty straightforward. So the first thing that comes through is Four of Rods or Four of Wands, depending on how you know, which deck you're working with. But Four of Rods here, Four of Wands, is about putting up the four corners of the proverbial house you want to live in. So this would be focus your energy on like nesting your life, making the actions, because wands are action, taking the actions needed to set your life up as you want to live it. So taking a chance to like think about where you want to go, how you want your life to look, and focusing on putting those pieces in place. The next part is, there's two places to put, like where to put your energy, and then like kind of where not to. This is the Four of Cups is next, and it's basically, the Four of Cups is like apathy. It's like, it's one of those like, oh great, more of this, thank you kind of cards. I would say when it comes to things being handed to you, if you want them, take them. If you don't. Because the other thing that we get here, the next, is the Nine of Rods, which is having too much to carry and just everything falling to the floor. The Nine of Wands is all about, I'm carrying so much, I'm almost there, I can almost get there, but I can't go much further. And remember, 9 is too many. Where you're best to focus your energy on is only on the things that matter to you and setting up the life that you want to live. Don't take on offerings from other people that don't feel like they fill you up. If it feels like, oh great, another cup of that, wonderful, like don't take it, because ultimately you'll end up with too much to sort through. You've got too much to let go of and clear from your plate as it is. And then it ends with this beautiful, like, Four of Rods ultimately could lead you to the Nine of Pentacles. Like, focus on what, this is a big message of, lay the groundwork with this card here for the life you want to live. How do you want your garden of life to look like? How do you want your day-to-day routine to look like? What do you want there? Who do you want there? What plants do you want to grow in your garden? And what things do you want to pull as weeds? Like, what things do you not want to feed? Because ultimately you want to have enough time for the things that matter. Like here it's her bird. And she's not overwhelmed taking care of it. Everything is in balance here. She's got enough, and she's not stressed taking care of this garden. It is what she wants. So ultimately, building the foundation for the life you want and not taking on anything that isn't yours, and letting go of things that are not yours or that are other people's ideals. Like, oh, hey, what a gift. Like, that actually is a sweet gift, but I really don't have room for it right now. Thank you. So, yeah. I hope that helps. So focus on the things that matter to you and the life you want to live and building the future you want to have. And don't feel bad about it is basically what it's saying. So I hope that that's helpful. And I hope you have an awesome new year. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's see who's next. Future someone, how do I use my gifts and talents to increase my finances and support your highest good? I like that. And let's see if you gave me a number. If you are here, future someone, give me a number 1 through 4. Okay. And if not, I'll skip you for now, and then I'll read you with like whatever number, because you might be coming back to this later. Happy New Year, Allison. And Dottie, if you're still here, if you could rephrase your question more for like asking a question about you, I'll be able to read on it. Future Someone 1. So you get the Hanson Roberts deck. Okay, so let's see. So how do you use your gifts and talents to increase your finances and support your highest good? So I'm going to continue to read all the questions that are in the chat, but I'm not going to be able to take any new ones unless Allison has one, but I'm going to have to cut it off there. But I will get to everybody's questions that are already asked. So if you can't stay and you just let it go to the recording, it'll be on the recording. Let's see. Your gifts to increase your finances, support your highest good. Okay, cool, Dottie. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I like that question too. So let's do using your gifts. Increase your finances and support your highest good. First card that comes out is the Magician. So that's a pretty bold card. That's a really, like, the answer from the universe is like, just use them. Like, basically, like, this is the masculine archetype of the magician has all of the tools or all of the suits, and he knows how to wield them or use them. It's like the masculine counterpart to the high priestess. And the high priestess is, I know what's happening. I understand the cycles of earth. I understand divine timing. I have all of the wisdom. I know. He is action. He is more like I use or I make happen or I do. He has all of these tools. So it would be basically like take the tools and do everything you can to do what's important in all the ways that you know best. It's basically saying, like, you kind of know, like, just be bold. And it's permission from the universe to, like, be bold with your gifts. Some additional guidance is, if that feels threatening to be kind of, like, bold, it's also, again, with the 4 of Rods, which is start to think about the life you want to live and start there. Like, how do I want to live? What do I want my day-to-day life to be? What do I want to see when I wake up? How do I want to feel when I go to sleep? What kinds of things are going to need to be there to help that happen? And so that, like, what do you want your end result to look like will help flavor what tools to use and how to use them. Additionally, it's this here is the 5 of Pentacles. I feel like it's not like a warning. It's more like I feel like this is where you get held back a little bit, because 5 of Pentacles upside down is not a bad thing. But I get this sense of, with the 5 of Pentacles, something, it's a hint for like what's in your way. And there's the worry or concern of being left out in the cold, of not having enough resources, of not having enough and doing without. It's a reminder that in the 5 of Pentacles, yeah, they're not in a good place, but right behind them is a church. And in the Middle Ages, which is when the images from these cards kind of come from, churches were where you went when you had nowhere else to go. If you were running from a government or a king or what have you, if you were out of food, had nowhere to go, you would go to a church. And this is exactly what that is. It's saying like, you don't have to, it's saying like the fear of doing without or being without what you need is what's holding you back, reminding you that you do have resources and support behind you, and to focus on building from what you have to where you want to go, and then being bold about it. The other card that comes up for you is the Hermit. So if you're not quite sure exactly which tool to use, exactly what way to use it, turn into yourself and be led by your light. This is basically saying you don't need to worry about being out in the cold. The Hermit is very much like, I'm not worried about how I look from the outside. The Village might say that I'm a weirdo, but here I am. I'm not following the societal norms. I'm doing what's going to make me happy. I'm led by my spiritual light, which is why his lantern has the Star of David in it. I would say this is a good balance and foil to the Magician. Here he has the staff and he's deciding what to do. Here the staff is what he's using to get himself to where the lantern leads. So there's a good balance of outwardly doing the work and inwardly meditating, doing your spiritual work, doing the things that are important for you. And then those things will come up and show themselves naturally in your work, in your career, in your earnings. So yeah, permission from the universe to be bold. Absolutely. And just keep focusing on what you want your life to look like. And then when in doubt, just go into spirit and follow your path. It's going to be in front of you. The Hermit is the paradox of the Hermit. Yeah, he's got this lantern lighting his way, but it's not like a long range flashlight. It's not bright out. He doesn't get to see the whole path in front of him. He might only see the next couple of steps. So continue to trust with that. Oh, good stuff, Allison. Okay, cool. Yeah, that'll be the last question. And give me a number 1 through 4. So I hope that helps future someone. But yeah, you've got it. You've absolutely got it. And keep focusing on what you want your life to look like. And okay, cool. Break the energy from that one. Oh, I'm so glad it makes sense. Yeah, permission to be bold. Go ahead and print out a picture of the Magician card in any deck that works for you and put it somewhere prominent to remind you the universe told you to be bold. Okay. Okay, so next one. Okay, so Dottie was next. So Dottie had asked the new question. Deck number 1. And what do I see about you and your life, and what do you need to know? Awesome. Okay. So you are getting the Tarot of Dreams by Ciro Marchetti, which is super pretty. And they're like shuffling themselves, which is so interesting. feel like I want to shuffle those again. So there's 2 major arcana cards for you and 2 minor. So the first card that comes up is the Empress. So this is for Dottie. So the Empress in this deck is a little bit different energy. This is the first thing that comes up, like your life and what... Oh, you're so totally welcome, Dottie. Hi, Maddie. So the Empress is, in this deck... it is kind of gestational. She's holding a baby, but it's not really a baby. You can see that's kind of, it's not an alien either, even though it's kind of glowing green. It's basically saying like holding space for what you want to grow. So as a major arcana card and as the first card that came up for you, my sense with this Empress is to put your energy where you want things to grow. Like where you put energy, like where energy goes, things will grow. So look at what you want to grow in your proverbial garden. Look at what you want to gestate. No, you are not an alien. No. And she is not carrying an alien around with her. That's not a Martian. Damn it. I know, right? It would have been so cool. Oh, it would have made so much sense. I don't belong here. I know, right? These last few years have been tough. I think all of us are looking for a little something different in that DNA test. But seriously, the Empress is all about what you tend will grow. So look at what you want to have in your life and put the energy towards those things and they will grow. And this is a very spiritual card saying like what you put, the energy you put into that will really, really manifest itself. The next card is just kind of showing a little bit of how you feel. And this is the feeling. So the feelings are 10 of Swords. And 10 of Swords, it looks really awful. This is basically feeling like you just can't go any further. So like I said, this is showing your emotion. So feeling like you can't win for losing. Almost like how, where, why, what else do I do? What, I don't even know where to go. I feel like I'm out of options. I feel like I'm just stuck. And this is very much like stick a fork in me, I'm done. So this is definitely the feelings. And what Spirit is saying is like, put your energy rather into the things that have been lost and the things that you're mentally worried about, putting some energy into what you want to have happen. The next card that comes up is Strength. These 2 cards together are pretty powerful. So we have Strength. 20 Swords would be more you. Yeah, yeah, I totally get it. The Strength card is very much, again, like, it's within us. It's not a tiger that's going to come out of the bushes and like eat us. This is a part of ourselves that is feeling wounded. And so it seems very scary and seems all consuming. But when we go to the part of ourselves that feels this way and we see what the real issue is and start to pick it apart and take care of it, we end up way strong because we can go within and fix what's broken within ourselves and rely on our strength, and we can conquer other things another day. That's another major arcana card. So the last one here is the Page of Wands. So this card is basically coming up. It's very much secondary to anything else in this reading. Pages are, again, like messengers. I would say this means there could be some new messages coming your way, new opportunities to think about different things and do different things. But also the Page of Wands, like you can see kind of the impish smile that he has. The Page of Wands can sometimes act a little bit he would be best to maybe think a little bit before he acts. And that's the thing. There's this lack of, it's very fiery energy, which can be good when you want to tear things down, because sometimes they need to be torn down. But the other side of it is being reactionary without coming inward. So you want to be able to say, okay, here's where I am and I'm choosing to act this way. He's more like, I'm going to react, and he's not putting a lot of thought into that. So this is saying, like, keep putting your energy where it matters to you, including the supernatural and the spiritual, and where you feel super stuck and super like you've got 20 knives in your back, rather than having those motivate you to act outwardly, look inwardly and figure out how to pull those swords out. Because if you do, you're going to be giving yourself a lot of agency, a lot of internal strength and growth, and a lot of opportunity to step forward with more purpose. She's going to go a lot farther and in a direction she really likes than he is going to. He'll go fast, but chances are he's going to have to turn around at some point. She's going to go slow, but she's going to know where she's going, and she's not going to have to second guess anything. She knows where she's going, and she's going to get there. So put your energy where it matters and focus inward and not so much outward. I hope that helps. And all the best to you, and Happy New Year. But yeah, that's a really cool, I love the way that they do the Empress in that deck. It's almost like, well, like when I was reading this deck in 2021 for people, it's like, yeah, well, after 2020, that proverbial baby is not what we expected. It's glowing green, but it's here. What are we going to do with it? So thank you for having me read for you. Oh, thank you. I'm glad it was. And okay, so let's see who's next. Bringing more love and ease into your life, pile 4. That's going to be the Hanson Roberts deck. So, Fiad Luna, this reading's for you. Do I want to reshuffle? Yes, I want to reshuffle those. I get what they were saying, but I feel like there's a better way to get there. So there's more cards, but this is like a briefer reading. Basically, I get the Page of Rods here. And the Page of Rods, especially in this deck, like they're very childlike and very light. The Page of Rods is about a message. So I feel like there's going to be something that either you've been invited to or that's been coming up to you intuitively, or something you could try. It's been almost like in the back of your mind. I feel like you've already gotten the message or the reminder about this, but it's a message to like do this thing or do it this different way. But yeah, it's a matter of answering that message that came through. And it's a technique, a method, something that you're going to do. And it could just be a personal practice kind of thing. Like new yoga studio, something along those lines. The next one I get is the Eight of Swords. And this is being all bound up. So this is a card, the swords again are mental. And the Eight of Swords, if you really look, she's not stuck. She feels like she's in duress. Like if she moves the wrong way, she's toast. She's kind of not, though. She could, if she wanted to, like shimmy in between those swords and be okay. And figure out a way out of there. But it's feeling hemmed in. So what this card really signifies is taking off the feeling of being blindfolded and looking at all of the swords around you and maybe taking some of them out. There's burdens on your mind that you can kind of toss aside for another day. So whether you're working with a professional to help sort those out, or if it's something you know to do intuitively, you're going to know which of those two is important. But kind of looking at your life and looking at the things that feel very stuck and the things that feel like I can't even get past that. I can't even get over that. To feel like you can let those go and go beyond it. So definitely letting some things go, including even just the mental burden of them. And they could actually be literal obligations as well. And Two of Pentacles. This is like you're doing right now. It's like, this is fine. This is fine. It's like it's almost like the preamble to the meme of the frog in the burning room, like, or the, whatever it is, the dog in the burning room, like, this is fine. It's like before he got to that point, he's like, here, it's okay. It sounds like the surf's getting a little rough. I'm here with my pentacles. It's okay. It's okay. I'm getting by. But those waves are getting bigger. So what this is saying is, right now you're able to kind of get by with this, but like you said, you need to change the way that this is going on. How to make more peace and love in your life. You're going to need to, for sure. So it's a matter of kind of maybe putting down these pentacles or just holding on to them and turning around and kind of seeing things for what they are. The other two that come up, one is King of Rods. So remember, we started with that Page of Rods. This is like answering that initial call. This is reminding you that in that same like taking actions and doing, you're in control, and reminding you that like you're in the driver's seat of life and you get to decide like where your energy goes and where it doesn't. So taking more of like a managerial, like CEO role of, I don't have time for that. I do have time for that. I'm not even going to make room in my mind for that, whatever that might look like. And being not only more decisive, but more so than mental and deciding, more like showing up to the different things. Even if it's just physically to go to a place to do a practice, or having a part of your room dedicated to something that you do and setting a timer on your phone. It's a matter of whatever you need to do to manage your actions and your physical energy, to put it where it matters, and also to make sure that you're not getting sidetracked by kind of like mental clutter. And a lot of these swords probably don't even belong to you. So like maybe giving some swords back to some people. At the end of this, I get very much the Four of Swords, which is exactly what you would ask for, like peace, love, but this is also like meditation. Making time to say like, I'm going to put down the 8 swords. I'm going to get rid of 4 of them. And then I'll have the 4, and I can just like rest and be in repose and actually reflect on those 4 swords. 8 is too much to handle. No wonder you want to keep a blindfold on. It's just too much. With a 4, it's like, I can work on this. I can reflect on myself. I can start to like get a semblance of where I want to go from here, and you're making choices rather than choices being made for you or feeling like you're treading water. So basically, like, take a look through all the things that you're carrying and make the choices that are feeling good to you. You're not, the feeling of stuckness and like facing it head on will help you feel more free, as much as it might feel scary right now. So I hope that that helps, and I hope that that answers your question. Oh, thank you, Dottie. But yeah, I hope that that answers your question, Fiat Luna. It's all within reach. It's all within reach. You can do it. Thank you for having me read for you too. Okay, yeah, pulling yourself in too many directions mentally. Yeah, so instead of 8, go for the 4 so that you can like reflect on them and show them like the focus that you want to have. You'll have room for those 4 mental swords and for you to like lie and repose and breathe and get perspective, because that's what the 4 of Swords is about. It's about rest and perspective. So yeah, all the best to you. So Fiat Luna. Okay. Losing my place. Maria, what's coming up for you financially and work opportunities? Card number 4. Or deck number 4. Deck number 4 is going to be Rider-Waite. This is really good. Okay, so what's coming up with you for financially and what work opportunities? Well, things are changing. I can give you that. Things are definitely changing. Wheel of Fortune is all about, like I mentioned earlier, it's like the roulette wheel of life, except that it's not left up to chance. It's a matter of it's weighted by our actions and our deeds and everything we've done up to this point. So this is a big change, and I get more information about it. So this is a big shift, especially in terms of where you work. So another 4 of Wands. This must be a big theme for a lot of people this year. 4 of Wands is again like having your actions to support where you want to go. Like the 4 of Wands is a very initial stages card to building the life that you want. It's only, you don't have the full walls there yet. It's almost like you stake out the corners of what will be the home, and you hang like a bow, and you're like, great, yay, this is going to be where we build. But there's still a lot of work to do. So it's sort of like start moving towards the life you want to live, and start making even those plans in some way, even if you can't act on them just yet, but in any way you can act on them, act on them. There's going to be a big shift, kind of like something that you don't see coming, but I feel like it's going to be good because this is going to be a year of beginnings and endings, because there's a 10, a Wheel of Fortune, and a Death. And it's actually a really good thing. So sometimes 10 of Swords and Death together, if you were to look them up, oh my God, someone's going to die. That's not what I'm getting at all. No, it doesn't fit in this reading at all. So the Wheel of Fortune is fixed by this. So 10 of Cups is all about like, it's the happy life, happy wife, everybody's happy, got their people around them kind of cards. It's everyone's celebrating and everything is good. Everything is in balance and harmony. It's like the too good to be true kind of card. So it's definitely going to somewhere better. Leaving behind is the strife and the worry. Leaving behind is the 10 of Swords. This like, can I even go any further? Feeling like stick a fork in me, I've done. This is another card that's come up for a lot of folks. Now remember, every deck has at least 78 cards on it. And how many times have we gotten the same few cards in different decks, mind you? It's not like lack of shuffling on my part. But yeah, this is the 10 of Swords is that you're leaving behind this feeling of mentally you just can't hold any more swords. And instead replacing that with full cups of good emotions, good connections. And this Death card coming up shows endings of things that no longer serve, beginnings of something else. Death is within that black flag, you have the white flower. And the white flower is what shows up on the lapel or in the hand of the Fool, the young person who is starting off on his journey. And that's really the parable underneath all of tarot, is the Fool's journey. He starts here and he goes through all these things and he learns, and then he's walking through the light of the sun. The Death card is very much like leaving behind, like separating the wheat from the chaff, leaving behind what has served its purpose and it's run its course, and it fertilizes the ground for what you will launch on. So this is definitely big endings, big beginnings, and a lot of surprising things kind of happening out of nowhere. So it's going to be an exciting year. It's going to be definitely more for the good. Some of the letting go is it's going to ultimately be really sweet. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some of it that's like, wow, I kind of wish that didn't shake out that way, but okay. But in general, this is really good. This is you starting to, because everything will almost be happening around you or happening to you in a really kind of good way. This is, I would say, focus on what you can control in putting the things around your day-to-day life and routine even that help you feel like this is the life I want to step into. Like when I get up in the morning, how do I want to feel? What do I want to see? When I go to bed at night, how do I want to feel? What do I want to be looking at? Where do I want to be? And focusing on those little things around you can really help. So if you feel stuck or just like everything is getting, because I don't think you're going to be very stuck this year, but if you feel like everything is just quick changing all the time, take a deep breath. And something that helps me with that is like decluttering or letting go of the things I no longer need. It's like symbolic for me energetically to like let go of things I no longer need, give them to the universe and say like, thank you for these. Neighbors outside, here's a bin of free stuff. I live in Southwest Philly. Everybody loves a bin of free stuff. We live and die for bins of free stuff. We have entire parts of social media devoted to who's giving away free stuff in the next 5 minutes. And it's a really beautiful way to say like, oh, I can gift this up to someone else. So yeah, focus on the little things you can do to support yourself. All the good changes are going to be happening. So congratulations. Yeah, that's like, you're going to have a wild year, but in a good way, but in a wild year. So all the best to you for sure. Yeah, Maria, I hope you have a wonderful year. So that was Maria Clark. That was Maria Clark. What's in store for Danelle this year? And deck 3. Okay, cool. And thank you for sticking in through with me, everybody. This is the first time I've done cards live, so this has been super fun. So thank you for sticking through. And I know this might be taking longer than some of you were thinking. I'm not sure, but I'm having a blast. So thank you for being here. And I'm loving the questions. And the vibe in here is super great. Okay, so Christinella, deck 3. What's in store for you this year? And that is the Tarot of Dreams by Ciro Marchetti. Oh, I'm so glad. Congratulations, Maria. Okay, what's in store for you this year? I feel like I want to shuffle again. This makes more sense. Okay, so this is for Christinella. What is in store for you for the following year? The first card that comes up, so the most important card in the reading, is the Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups is about stepping away from what no longer serves. And when I say no longer serves, I mean generally emotionally, like what doesn't feel fulfilling. Oh, thank you, Emily. I don't know if I'm going to have time for any more questions. I'm sorry. I will let you know if, I'll see if we can like squeeze you in. Probably not, unfortunately. But everybody really likes this, so I'll do this again. So definitely like keep in touch and let me know. And I'll do my best to squeeze you in on the next one. I'm so sorry. Yeah, my bad. Sorry. This is my first time doing tarot live on YouTube. So this is all new day for all of us, but I'm glad that you're here and I hope you have an awesome new year. Also, I'm recording readings for all 12 signs. So the first 2 are up, Scorpio and Taurus, and the rest are going to be posted through the 3rd. So you're going to get a reading on that. But yeah, thank you for being here. Chris, 8 of Cups, stepping away from what no longer serves. Emotionally speaking, how you feel in your heart. Do you feel fulfilled? And that's what this stepping away is. these cups are a sure thing, but they're also empty. So are they helping you? No. But they are still a sure thing. You know that they're there. Stepping up and into the moonlight, the moon and the sun have very strong imagery within the tarot. And the moon is very much that lunar, not everything is well lit. You don't get to see every little detail. You don't get to see what's in front of you. You're taking a bit of a leap of faith. But it's a very spiritual one. So you're very much stepping away from what's unfulfilling and into kind of not total darkness, but some darkness. You'll be led by your spirituality, your faith, and your intuition. Temperance is another card that comes up. This is about spiritual alchemy, the things of water. When you have water and you have fire and you put them together, you get that kind of mist, and that's actually what gives us a rainbow. So when we have these two forces, this is basically taking what's extra hot and what's cool and running and putting it together, holding things together in such a way that it creates something better than either of the two things. Temperance shows us about spiritual balance. So as you step out into, hopefully into things that are much better, you're stepping into, you definitely are, but at the moment you're doing it, you're taking that leap of faith. This is about taking and holding space for the things that are more positive, things that maybe are more challenging, and making that balance be something that you can do in a spiritual sense, meaning that you bring your most positive things. Yeah, it really is. You take all the parts of you and the things that it's not so much a cut and run or I leave you and I take you. It's more of a, how do I hold space for you and mundane life and spiritual life and all of these things at the same time, and have them be fruitful, have them produce something that is important. And this is what temperance is. The next card, and I'm glad that you like the imagery of the rainbows, is the star. So as much as you might feel like you're stepping off into the unknown and leaving behind what you do know, is the star. And the star is Hope Springs Eternal. And again, this is the Tarot of Dreams by Ciro Marchetti, who his decks are beautiful. The star, it's usually a maiden in a lake who's pouring out one vessel of water while filling up another while standing in the water. It's like, I can do this all day. There's plenty to go around. This is even in the darkness that's around you, you're surrounded by abundance and led by the North Star. There will be enough light to guide you. You'll see, focus on the prize, keep your eye on the prize and keep going. There's going to be ample surrounding you. You won't be without. So keep hope alive. And so here is this rainbow that the spiritual alchemy, it's sort of like flowing out and creating for you that spiritual abundance. And the last card, I think, is okay, but where do I start? This is the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords is a card of a burst of energy in one particular aspect of life. And swords are mental, intellect, clarity, thinking, what we can think about. So Ace of Swords, very much how do I think about it as your logic as a hot knife through butter. You can cut right through whatever's in front of you. And it's things that were right in front of you that you didn't see, you'll be able to think about them really quickly. So you're kind of coming to that point. So I feel focus on your logic. Don't lose your connection to logic, but this is a very spiritual reading here at the same time. So definitely trust the new logical energy. It might be a new way of thinking or just a new sense of trust into your intellect and what you're seeing when you think with logic. And then you'll know kind of what to let go of and step beyond, what things need to be blended to kind of be temperance and holding space for two things at one time. This is sort of we know what my country, what the US, what most of our country, because some of us are from different places too. It's become a place where trying to have nuance is really hard. It's two things can be true at the same time sometimes. And there's a very, logic versus intuition. And sometimes it's a little bit of both. Sometimes it's my spirituality is pulling me this way, but I'm not sure how to do that. And then it's like, if you think back to your logic is like, oh, wait a minute, there's a logical way to do this. Temperance is like that nuance of like, actually, both of these things are correct at the same time in their own respective ways. So this is about getting to the real fine detail of things, the real granular details of things, but trusting that there is a flow and an abundance overall. You're definitely not going to be without. Those cups are empty, but you're stepping into like the land of milk and honey, spiritually speaking. And the place where I feel like this is a new way of using logic and applying logic and trusting logic, where logic and spirituality can meet, and they can overlap and they can make sense together. Yeah, and it will be a chin scratcher at first, but it will happen. And temperance and the star, like, I would say go online and look for any deck that you happen, like just look for Tarot the Star and look at all the different images that come up of that tarot card. And the one that resonates with you the most, like, print it out and put it somewhere prominent to remind you as you go through this year, like, there's no sense of lack. There's going to be plenty more energy coming in, and that might be helpful. But I hope that helps you. Yeah, so like, what's coming this year? Lots of spiritual growth and new ways of thinking, I would say, is the summary. I hope that helps. And I hope you have a beautiful year. Happy 2023. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be one that you write about in the future, kind of thing. Yeah, because the Star card and Temperance are really, they're heavy hitters, for sure. You have a Merkaba Star. Yeah. Keep that around. Keep that around for sure. Awesome. So let's see. Maricela, deck 4. You want to know about what to expect from this year. Okay. That is the Hanson Roberts Tarot. Hanson Roberts Tarot. So what is coming in for Maricela? Awesome. So the first card that comes up, pretty great card. And again, this is for Maricela. What to expect from the new year. Oh, see you at 8. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So first card that comes up is the Lovers, which is pretty interesting. I mean, that kind of speaks for itself. So this can be absolutely the obvious of a romance card, but it can also be more than that. It can be people coming together in a very balanced, eye-to-eye, heart-to-heart, open, honest, integrity kind of way. It's about new unions that are very beneficial and spiritually significant. So this is really beautiful. So if this is the card of the year ahead, this is a really good thing, regardless of how it shows up. The next card is also a major arcana, and that's the Empress. And a lot of people have gotten the Empress today. The Empress is about holding space for something that comes of two people or of two things or of many people working together. So when we put these two cards together, this can be like in the literal sense, this can be like a union and even a pregnancy. It could be like the literal thing, or it could be something quite different. Like it could be finding a business partner, having that be a really good balance, and then that union begatting something new, like a business, for example. And so what I'm getting here is just like really good connections with people. You can see here there's an angel looking down and kind of guiding everybody together to make sure that you all meet up. And the Empress here is about holding that space and creating and gestating something new. So this is definitely about coming into new connections, creating new things, holding sacred space. And the Five of Rods comes up. I would say this is a sign of there's going to definitely be, while you're coming into these new good connections, there's going to be a releasing of these not so great connections. Five of Rods is really literally what it looks like. Five people smacking each other with sticks and nobody really coming out ahead. So the wisdom of this is, if you show up and there's four people smacking each other with sticks and you're the fifth person and you have a stick, you can show up and you can start smacking people and they're going to smack you back. Or do you want to take your action, your energy, your power, and maybe walk away and use it for something else? So I feel like this is going to be some closed doors with like unions and partnerships that don't work in this regard. And it'll be really easy to do because you've got better connections. Oh, thank you, Maria. Awesome. And then it ends with a really great card. This is one of the best cards in the deck, is the Ace of Cups. So it's like the Sun, the Two of Cups, and then somewhere in there is the Ace of Cups. They're really great cards. This is a burst of energy into your life that is heartfelt and new emotions. This literally could be, like I said, like literal, like start of a family. It could also be literal start of a new connection with new people in some way. Letting go of sort of toxic patterns and embracing something that is much more well balanced in every aspect of your life, and that growing something new. As far as, like, I'm not necessarily getting a specific, I feel like you'll know what part of your life this really applies to. It could be all of them, but if it's romance, if it's family, I feel like if it's work, it's something more than just work. But yeah, this is a lot of new energy. This is going to be an incredible year. In January 1st of next year, you're going to look back at this time and be like, whoa, my life changed. And all for the better. This is an incredible reading. So I hope that this is helpful. I hope that that's helpful. And yeah, so that was for Maricela. And I'm just trying to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Okay. Maria Cartwright, you would like to know if you have a message from your guides. Absolutely. deck number 3. Maria Cartwright, A Message from Your Guides, deck number 3. And that's the Tarot of Dreams by Ciro Marchetti. Oh, and Cat Lady, I just saw your message. That is incredibly sweet. Thank you. Thank you, Cat Lady. That's really sweet. Okay, so Maria, a message from your guides. Okay, so these are the right cards. And so, Maria Cartwright, this is for you. The first card that comes up is the Six of Swords. And this had come up in another deck for someone else. But the Six of Swords is about leaving what no longer serves, taking what's important to you, and heading in a direction of your choosing. So this is about taking a lot more ownership for taking a lot more ownership of where you want to go, and taking nothing with you that you feel is not only harmful and like the obvious things, but just also things that don't need to be a part of your future. Think of it as like when you pack to move. It's like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with this sweater, this dress, this couch, this whatever, but it just doesn't need to be a part of my new place. That's very much the vibe that's coming through for me on this. So Six of Swords, you can see that the person that's in this is wearing like a mask, and there's a mask here and there's the swords here. It looks very foreboding, but ultimately these are just saying like how protected they are. They're going through this arch, which is really spiritually significant and very ornate. And the most important thing here, different than the usual kind of Six of Swords iconography, is that there's a lamp here, just like with the Hermit. This is saying like, yeah, there will be times where it will feel a little shadowy and a little dark, and you don't know exactly what that next riverside is going to look like. You don't know exactly what that next thing is going to look like, but you're going to be able to see as far forward as you need to. So this is, in like magical traditions and shamanic traditions, a mask is protective. It's like keeping yourself hidden when you're going through different places. So yeah, this is like also transformative too as you go through this. So it's a deeply transformative time. Next card that comes up is the Knight of Swords. So swords energy again is very intellectual. And the Knight of Swords is that kind of brash energy. And I feel like there might be, I feel like that card doesn't really represent you. It might represent something that you're leaving behind. Someone that can be quick to action in maybe not the best way. A pattern or a familiarity with a type of person or a type of scenario or a type of work environment where things aren't thought through completely, and it's more reactionary than thought and action. So you're leaving behind this, I don't know who's going to pull the rug out from under me. I don't know who's going to do what next kind of thing. And you're going ahead and you're saying, like, I'm not, that this sword doesn't need to be in my, this sword doesn't need to be in my boat. This doesn't need to be part of my future life. So there's definitely a pattern that you're leaving behind. And it may be a literal person or people. But it's definitely a different, it's something that's been holding you back in terms of something you're familiar with, like somebody else's lack of foresight kind of not providing you stability and comfort that you need. The other thing here is the Four of Cups, and this is the apathy card. And here you see, like, she looks really upset, like she's crying. Oh, absolutely. Sorry, this is the Five of Cups. Five of Cups is rather the don't cry over spilled milk. So we've got 3 cups here, and this is a feeling of like loss, and there may be loss, but there's 2 cups behind her, and these are full. There's another deck that I read, and even in some of the decks that are here, one of the decks that I read is the Steampunk Tarot, which is not out tonight. And it's a picture of a woman who's like a barmaid, and there's a guy who's just passed out asleep at the bar, and he's just snoozed out, and he's just not happy for life. She's got 2 more cups, and she's looking on him, kind of taking pity on him. Like, man, he really thinks like the whole world just up and left him. But like, I've got this bounty for him, but he's not able to see it because of the position he's in. This is you leaving behind what are those 3 cups and celebrating those 2, being open to receiving those 2. The blessings and the what's behind this is a really beautiful card. It's the High Priestess. This is the card that I always reference when I'm doing community distance Reiki that has to do with the Moonstone. The High Priestess these are like the pillars to Solomon's temple. This is all of the wisdom of humanity behind her. She's got a crystal ball. She's got a scroll in front of her that says, darkness into darkness, the key to all mystery. So like when we go within, we can like really learn and be guided by something more important. So this is your own intuition, divine femininity, doing what's right for you and following what in your heart of hearts is important. So I see this being like kind of a quick transition, maybe like in the middle of the night, kind of making a decision and moving kind of thing. This might be also you kind of embracing this energy a little bit to make a more quick change than you would otherwise. But this is a very deeply spiritual and very guarded transition in your life to something far more fruitful, significant, and healthy, and lots of love to you. I feel like this is beautiful. You're going to be having some really good things coming forward. So, and thank you for your kind words, Cat Lady. Hi, Mish. I hope you're well. Let's see. Oh, wrong window. But yeah, I hope that is helpful. And who is next? Cat Lady. Yeah, you've never seen a tarot reading. Cool. Cat Lady, deck 3. Is it possible that I will meet anyone with whom I will connect romantically, deeply, healthy, safe, positively, and in a long term? Ooh, I like that. Okay, cool. And deck 3. So let's put these here. Okay, so Cat Lady, you get Hanson Roberts tarot deck. I love this tarot deck. I haven't read with it in the longest, and I'm so glad it came out to play today when I was picking decks. It's very Rider Waite, but it's also very lighthearted storybook fun. Oh, I'm so glad that was helpful. Happy New Year to you too, Mish. Blue sky, the pale blue stones on the table. These two are angelite. These are sapphire. These are chevron amethyst. Red tiger eye. And both of these black stones are black onyx. One is tumbled and one is raw or rough. It's a little late, unfortunately, Mish, but I will be doing this again because it seems like everybody likes it. So happy to do that. So let's do, I got you, Cat Lady. Let's see. I've got the first card that comes up because you're asking about like love and romance and things. This is the High Priestess. So this is like divine feminine, like going into who you are and connecting to the universe and all of the old ancient wisdom. And then after that is the card of Judgment. Now the card of Judgment, like, oh, thank you. I definitely will announce when I have the next one up. I am also loading up the tarot for all 12 signs. I've uploaded so far Scorpio and Taurus, and I will be doing all the rest through the 3rd. So they'll be posted. So you can do your sun, moon, and rising in that too if you want to. But yeah, so glad you're here. But Judgment, oftentimes we think of this as like, oh, well, Judgment, how is that like romantic and what have you? The Justice is a different card. Justice is about like, well, what we would normally think of as justice. Judgment is a little bit more, it's a little bit more like weighted. This is basically like the angel comes and plays its trumpet and it's like, wait a minute, something's not right here. We're going to take a look at everything. This is oftentimes like a big spiritual truth or kind of like a come to Jesus moment or like a big shift in life somehow. I feel like this year with the cards I'm seeing for you are going to be about shifting into a place where you are going to be ready for the right kind of spiritual relationship for you. It's almost like a transition year. Judgment is a very spiritually divine card of deciding, okay, where is the imbalance? Let's fix it. Justice is blind and it just says, okay, you're right, you're wrong, so says the law. But the law can, the law always has blind spots. It's like, what's in the spirit of the law? What's in the letter of the law? Judgment is very different. Judgment takes into account all of those nuances. So it's almost like a resetting of the scales, a resetting of everything to say, okay, wait a minute, something needs to shift here. And I feel like it's to your benefit. It's like a spiritual reset. Here is the Queen of Cups. And this is very much the part of you that has kind of been waiting your turn. Like you've been going through things and you've been waiting for your turn. And I feel like she finally comes in and is like, finally, I get to take a sip from this cup. The Queen of Swords can be there for a lot of other people. She's been through a lot, but she tends to be there for everyone else. And this is her saying, this is finally my time to take a sip. Things of letting go. So that's inviting in. Letting go, 9 of Rods. There's definitely, I'm just going to check in. There's something that needs to be let go of in terms of how you use your physical energy, what you're involved in, that it's almost like it's time to make space in your life for this person to come in. So if you were to have this spiritually beautiful, like all the wonderful things, long-term relationship, what space would you make for them? Like how would you rearrange your life or circumstance to like make the most of that? And this is basically saying, let go of anything that's clouding up that space now as if they were to show up tomorrow. So start like lightening your load a little bit. And then the Page of Swords, I feel like there's going to be a lot of aha moments. And by that I mean moments where you're kind of logically thinking some things through and you're like, oh, I think differently about that now, or I never considered it that way. There's changes in how you think about relationships and how you would even like choose a mate. And so there's some like mental parsing and sorting, but also this is a message. I wouldn't be surprised if this person does come by in a sudden message, a sudden like, hey, do you want to go out kind of thing, like almost like, oh, out of the blue. But also, yeah, there are little messages for you about perspective and how you view these things and how you would go about choosing a mate, how you would go about making space. But definitely like start making spaces if they're showing up tomorrow. Feeling like it's finally time for you to take a sip from that cup because you've been taking care of everyone else's stuff and everything else in life. There's definitely a big spiritual reset. I wouldn't be surprised if you have like this big epiphany to yourself and divine guidance, divine wisdom. Like this is like a really big year for you. So I feel like there is something coming, but there's like as far as a relationship, but before that happens, there's going to be some internal shifts that are really significant and spiritual. So I hope that helps. And I think it's a really good thing. Yeah, I think you will be. So I hope that helps, and let me know if it doesn't make sense or anything. But this is like, it feels like it's coming. There's just some big shifts that are going to happen right before. So all the best. You keep me posted. Let me know what's going to happen. And I think next was and now that I reread your question too, I feel like a lot of those epiphanies might be about not having any unhealthy patterns replaying themselves. Like the Queen of Cups is very much about having been through things and coming out on the other side wiser and having that wisdom to share with others to help them in their time of need. And definitely like, oh, now I get to use that for me. I feel like there's going to be a lot of learning from those patterns and almost like the judgment card being like, okay, we're not doing that again. Here's something different. So I feel like that's really helpful for you. I think something really great's on its way. And so, Ham, we finally get to you. If you're still here, I'm going to read for you either way, and I'll put it here in the recording and make sure it gets its way to you. Okay, and let's see. Cool. Deck number 1. Finances and love, trying to increase your finances this year and wondering if I already met my soulmate. Ooh, I like that one. Oh, yay. Oh, more than helped. I'm so glad, Cat Lady. I'm so glad. Okay. So, Ham, this one's for you. Thank you for hanging in. Okay. So, deck number 1. I feel like that is the Fountain Tarot coming out for you. And remember, we have community distance Reiki at 8, so everybody can get some Reiki. So I'm going to do readings on both for you, Hom. And I'm just going to do 3 cards on each. Here's my pendulum. Okay. So the first 3 are work. I might throw down some new cards for the romance reading. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so increasing finances. Okay, cool. Thank you, Hom. Oh, thank you, The Funk. I'm glad you're here. And so let's see. So increasing finances this year. All about that. So the first card that comes up is the Queen of Coins, which is a really good thing. Queen of Coins is, and she's come up for a few people, but the Queen of Coins has a lot to do with, queens are like management energy. They're like the people that handle all the fine details. It's like pages are the messengers. They're the young buck energy, or as we would say in Philly, the young bull energy. Knights are like immature young person, but still have a lot of energy to bring forward. Queens are the managers. They figure out the logistics and how to make all the things work. And then the king energy is like CEO. It's like, okay, great. Now that the queen got it working, I can take it and make it exponentially bigger. And that's kind of how they work. So the Queen of Coins is like, what this is basically saying is, get into the nuts and bolts and the meat and potatoes of how the finances are working. Like, get into the nitty gritty, every line details and see what's going where and what needs to shift. And I feel like there might be some things going places that you don't expect, or losses, like money going out where you don't expect it to. And you can kind of recalibrate that, almost like sometimes when we look at all of the subscriptions that we have and we're like, oh, I can get rid of there's 40 or 50 bucks found a month. It's crazy how that sneaks up on us, right? This is you like very much being in control of the finances and the book. So for you and for how you earn your income. So there's that. So Queen of Coins. Step into that manager role. Okay, cool. And let's see, 5 of Wands. So you get the 5 of Wands reversed. The 5 of Wands reversed in this deck, 5 of Wands is, 5 of Wands is 5 people smacking each other with sticks usually. But in this deck, we see that the person all the way closest to us, which would represent you, is kind of standing back like, I don't know if I really want to be part of this melee. I don't really know if I want to put my energy out there. With it in reverse, this is basically saying like there's a lot of energy and moving parts and you're kind of holding back where you need to be more proactive and in the steering position. Like there are times where it is just 5 people smacking each other with sticks, and there are times where it's like there's a couple people doing battle or just like things moving, a lot of energy moving, but maybe not actually making any progress. It's like wasted energy. So it's time for you to come in with your stick and say like, everybody lay him down. What's going on here? So it's don't stand on the sidelines. take an active role in, okay, yeah, everything's moving around, everything's shifting, but I want to know where it's shifting, why, when, how. So taking a very active role in the finances. The last card that comes up is Judgment, or at least the last card for business is Judgment. And it's not like judgment against you kind of thing. It's more like Judgment is the 20 card. It's a double X 20. So it's like in tarot, it's cyclical. Everything is like 10 and 10 and 10. It's like the Fool's Journey is many cycles of 10, beginning all the way through to the end, and then next cycle and next cycle. So this is the end of a cycle. It's like you're moving towards this judgment where you're able to come in and say, okay, I'm here, and I'm going to say, this makes sense, this does not make sense. And like we saw Judgment in the last reading, it's not justice. Justice is, okay, I'm going to make a decision based on this set of rules. And I'm not going to look at any of the extenuating circumstances, just what's in front of me. Judgment is a lot more high-minded. It's a lot more, okay, but I want to know about all of the depth behind each thing. Like, okay, that might have been wrong, but tell me the full story behind it. Or, okay, this might be a lot of money out, but what is it really worth? And kind of looking at things deeper. And Judgment is about you feeling confident to stand there in that sort of cup and put things into the fire and turn them into smoke where it makes sense, and keep things in that cup where it makes sense too. So Judgment is about you feeling more confident and saying yes, no, or we're going to take this and we're going to put it over there. That I'm going to invest. That I'm not going to invest over there. This is going to be you. This is a major arcana, so this is a very spiritual lesson too. As you do this, your gift for judgment around these things will get really precise. Hey, Vincent. Good to see you. I'm not able to take any more new questions right now because otherwise we'll run into community distance Reiki, but I will be doing another one of these for sure because everybody's loved it. And I'm posting the Tarot for 12 Signs now through the 3rd, and I've already posted Scorpio and Taurus so far because I know so many of you are Scorpios. I started with that one this month. And I promise I will finish them this month. Thank you for understanding last month. It was just too busy. Okay, so for romance for Ham, I feel like in some way it's almost like your guides are trolling you. First card that comes up for romance and love life and stuff is the 10 of Swords. This is I feel like I just can't anymore. I'm just I'm done. And then after that comes the Fool. It's okay, I'm ready for something new. I'm ready to let go of all that old heavy stuff. I'm ready to let go of the old hurts and all of the different things, all of that. So embarking on something new without the baggage of old. And then the King of Cups is, again, manager type energy or CEO type energy. Cups are emotions, feelings, relationships, and anything that's there that's important. Anything there that, a King of Cups, if this were an actual king of a land, this would be a very benevolent place to live. This would be the one that I would want as my king. Somebody who is, he actually cares about the people kind of thing. So when we say King of Cups comes in, this is you basically saying, you know what, I'm shaking off all of that old stuff. I'm starting anew. And this is basically being like a whole new version of how you handle romance, how you feel, how you convey those feelings, how you share that with someone, and how you hold space in a relationship. So when I was saying like, oh man, it feels like you're being trolled in a way, it's like womp womp kind of thing. But new beginnings, it's a good thing. But this is almost like all of a sudden you're the guy at the club in the nice suit kind of thing. It's like a very high level kind of thing. Is the person already in your life? Let's see if we can get an answer on that. I don't feel like that's an answer, but let me see. When I ask my pendulum, I get a yes. But remember, that could mean a lot of things. This might be the person you're thinking of. It might be someone else. It might also but I'm tending towards a yes. But this is basically showing the letting go of old and the old pain and feeling like stick a fork in me, I'm done, to a point of like not even carrying those swords any longer, or that feeling, embracing the new, like leap into something new. And then that's when you get to be like the guy at the club in the fresh new suit. So I hope that helps. But this is really good for romance. Like this is a really excellent like way to start the new year on a romance card, leaving behind the pain of the past, embracing something new, and being like the king of romance. That's incredible. So all the best to you. Thank you for waiting. It's great to see you. Happy New Year to you and everybody in your family. Lots of love to you. We go way back. It's great to see you. And let me know how everything works out. Lots of love. Awesome. Let's see who's next. And oh, I'm so glad to hear you're in a place to embrace new. And yeah, you'll be able to find this. It'll be in the videos. You can save it to favorites and stuff, or save it into your likes by liking the video. But you can also, I'll make a playlist of like tarot readings and stuff. And let's see who was after Hom. So Allison moving to a new city. Oh, thank you, Allison. That's really sweet. Oh, and deck 1. Okay. So, Spirit, a more direct yes, no. Will moving to a new city be good for you and your healing? And deck 1. So, deck 1 would be Tarot of Dreams by Ciro Marchetti. So, Allison, this is for you. I feel like these aren't it. Moving to a new city. As I was shuffling, all I could think of, for what it's worth, is when I moved to Philly, when I felt like spiritually guided to like move here when I was like 24, and I've been here, I'll be 42 later this month. I couldn't imagine anywhere else. Truly, it's been the most spiritual. It was the most spiritual thing to just trust that I was supposed to move here when I did. And it didn't make a lot of sense on some levels, but it made perfect sense in my heart. And I didn't know anyone here. And it was the best thing I ever could have done. So maybe that portends to something good. I still feel like, let's try another deck. Yeah, let's try Fountain Tarot for you. Aha, this feels better. Another one with the Empress and the Fountain. I swear there are like almost 80 cards in each deck. But there's a lot of commonality, just like when we do community distance Reiki and everyone's asking for their intentions and there's so much overlap, samesies. So the first card that comes up is really enchanted. It's the World. So the World card brings us to, Happy New Year to you too. Oh, way back to the firehouse. Absolutely. 50th in Baltimore. And there's a whole new brew pub there now. My gosh. And I hope Ellen's doing well. I have to see her soon. Allison. Yeah, okay. Trust my intuition. Oh, you love Philly, but it feels a bit like a plant that's outgrown its pot. Yeah, you know when it's time, like, to do what you need to do. So the World is basically culmination. It's a really beautiful card. It's a woman sitting on top of the world. And this is basically like, congratulations, you reached the end of the ride kind of thing. Like, you reached the end of the simulation. This definitely pretends to being where you need to be. Like, you've reached a certain point of culmination. I'm not surprised that you're saying you feel like a flower that's outgrown its pot. You're sitting on top of it. It's almost like you've come as far as you can go here, and it's time for a new challenge, because this is like the end of the major arcana is where you're at. Like, you're kind of almost at the end of the major arcana when you're at the World. It's like the Fool has made his journey and he is now on top of the world. The cards that come to add more guidance to that, Ten of Coins. Ten of Coins is a happy wife, happy life card. It's basically like, again, it's an ending. It's like, and not a bad ending. It's like a congratulations, you've reached the end of the simulation kind of thing. It's material resources and basic needs provided. It's the end of a cycle in a very good, stable way, a very sustainable way. Things are very sustainable. Ace of Coins is saying that it's time to start anew. There's going to be a new burst of financial, like there could be financial benefits for leaving, or it could be a financial offer that has you to leave, like a well-paying job or something along those lines. But yeah, Ace of Coins, there's something good coming in that way. The other two cards that popped up when I asked for clarity are both major arcana, and again with the Empress, and it's about things coming together to create something new. It's about taking who you are and everything that you became here and like putting it together to create something new. So I wouldn't be surprised if you are connecting with someone else or some other entity to create something beyond yourself or holding space. I also get the sense that, like, and this is really important, this is what's coming through, that the Empress is also showing you, like, that's kind of like Philly was helping hold that space for you and gestate you, and it's like kind of become its time. The next one I get is the Fountain. And as we said earlier, the Fountain is a card that's only in the Fountain Tarot. And it's basically the ether. And the one-word description of it is be. This is a card of being within just being within yourself, focusing on the present moment, focusing inwardly, and just enjoying the present moment. So it's also reminding you not to look too far ahead and not to feel too pulled behind. It's like, enjoy the sweetness of this moment. Like if you're sad about leaving, if you're excited about leaving, and of course it's probably going to be both, enjoy like where you're at and for the time that you're here, because I don't feel like the move is going to be immediate. So enjoy the where you're at and enjoy where it's taking you, and being present in the moment can help you make the most of it, and it'll help you connect with who you are and where you're going, so that you don't get kind of off balanced as you make that transition. So yeah, this is, okay, you're born, time to go, but in a very happy kind of way, but like almost like you're not quite done baking yet. Yeah. So I feel like this is a really beautiful, like, you have come to, these are 3 really powerful major arcana cards. And so they're very much saying, like, you've reached the highest possible point of this journey here, and there's a new journey to begin. And it's a journey that involves the you that was here and everything you learned here, how you grew here, how the city flavored you, how you flavored the city, and it's taking that to somewhere else to create something new. Yeah, it's really meaningful. It's like, it's almost like your spirit guide's like cheering you on and saying, like, yes, it's time to go, but also, like, you're not going right away. Like, it's okay to, like, it doesn't have, it's, yeah, to some extent it's going to be bittersweet. Like, you can just be in the moment and take a victory lap of comfort here in Philly until it's time to go. So it's not like a Hanged Man where it's like, well, you're stuck, so take another look at it. They're more like, just enjoy where you're at. It'll be really clear where you're going, when you're going there, and why you're going, but enjoy where you're at for right now and just sort of take your victory lap. So I hope that helps. And thank you for having me read for you. And I think that was it. Was there one more? Emily, if you are still here, let me know. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, you just renewed your lease for a year, so no rush. Yeah, take this as a year of like, I love it here. I love this place. I love all the people here. I'm not going to look at this as like a bitter year. I'm going to look at this as a really sweet year of enjoying it. And it's almost like you can't go home again, being able to look back. Being able to look back and say like, oh, that was so beautiful. I wish I could cherish it again. You get a whole year of that. So like, do all the things you thought you might want to do while you were here. And like, prioritize all the friends and the places you want to go and the people that are important, the things that are important. Oh, and thank you for the happy early birthday. Oh my gosh, you thought I was 30. Thank you. No, I'm not. Nope, I'm definitely not. Nope, I was born when Carter was president. Not for much longer, but I was born when Carter was president. But thank you. People have asked me what like wrinkle cream I use, and the answer is always, I'm allergic to them all. Sunblock. Okay, so I think we are cool. So I think we're going to get ready to wind down, because now I can get ready for community distance Reiki at 8. So thank you everyone who was here. This was so much fun. This was so much more fun than I thought it could be. I think we should do this again. So thank you so much for being here, and I hope all of you have an amazing 2023. I will keep recording the readings for all 12 signs. They will be there for everybody to go ahead and enjoy. They'll be up through the 3rd, and once they're all up on YouTube, I will also upload them to the TikTok. And yeah, I have great plans for 2023 and good things coming, and I hope you do too. It looks like all of you have some really great things coming. And I mean, if it looked challenging, I'll be honest with you, but this looks like, you know, after the last few years we had, like, I just put something on my personal Instagram that was like a low ball glass half filled with what looks like whiskey. And it says, you know, optimist, it's half full. Pessimist, it's half empty. 2022. That's P, isn't it? So looking forward at 2023, after the last couple years, we're all like, I don't want to look. You go first. I don't know about you. That's kind of how I feel. But I also have a really optimistic sense about this year. I hope I'm right. But I think there's going to be a lot of beautiful things. Oh, thank you, Allison. You guys are so awesome. Like, seriously, something I do, and something I've did since I closed my studio in Old City, like at the beginning of COVID, I felt really bad, and I did like a GoFundMe, and people sent me like really nice emails and things about like how I had touched them and things. And I printed some of those out and I put those on my wall for when I had really difficult days after, you know, the lockdown and all that. And I do that sometimes with what you guys write. I like put it in a little notepad on my computer so that when I'm having a rough day, I can see that. So thank you. It means a lot to me too. You all mean a lot to me too. Thank you. Thank you. I try to be, and you guys make it easy to be. So I'm going to go ahead. Thank you. Thank you, Blue Sky. All of you are rad. All of you are super rad. And a lot of you are Philly people, so of course you are. Oh, thank you. This was an honor. Thank you, Maria. Oh, I know we're going to have an awesome 2023. And a lot of the cards that I saw coming up in the Tarot for All 12 Signs were coming up here for everyone. It's like same thing as community distance Reiki. We are far more interlinked than we think that we are. And of course, why wouldn't we be? We're all here on this planet together. If the supply chain breakdown has taught us nothing, it's that what one person does over here absolutely matters to everybody over there. So thank you so much for being here. I'm going to go ahead and ground a little bit, have a little snack, and get ready for Community Distance Reiki at 8. If you've never been to that, just come on in. All you need to do is just hang out. We make requests for our personal healing. I put together a crystal grid. Then I send Reiki to you. It's that simple. So I hope to see you all again soon. I hope you have a beautiful 2023, and I will definitely post another one of these soon. So take care of yourselves, and bye for now.